I mean, your expertise in marketing. Can I ask you 3 tips on marketing fatigue? As you mentioned before, that small business owners suddenly have all these responsibilities to know everything. And then marketing, there's so many like plethora of things. Where do I start? And then if we are not careful, we have marketing fatigue. I've experienced marketing fatigue before. So now I want your tips on how to deal with it.
Yeah. Marketing fatigue is a very, very, very real phenomenon. And I don't know a single person who doesn't complain about feeling overwhelmed by their marketing. It's a big issue. And my approach to managing stress and fatigue around marketing, I guess it has less to do with your own personal approach to managing stress and fatigue generally, although of course that's very important as well. But when it comes to your marketing, a lot of it's about preparation, about building your sort of a really rock solid foundation right at the start that's going to help you drive and manage all of your marketing going forward. And this is actually the area that I specialize in, not specifically for this reason. This is just a wonderful byproduct of, managing your stress and fatigue is a wonderful byproduct of my process. But it's actually one of the core fundamentals of marketing, and that is understanding what you're selling, number one. Secondly, understanding who you're selling to. And number 3, understanding why you're selling it. And now these, sound very, very simple, and they are very simple. However, and you can summarize these into one word, and that's focus. And focus is the most important thing that you can do in your marketing, because if you're not 100% clear and focused on what you're doing and why you're doing it, your customers will never connect successfully with you, and you'll never connect successfully with your customers. And, these steps are common to all business situations because, as we were saying, they all form the core of your relationship with your customer. And it's that relationship with the customer that determines the success of your business. So, I mean, it is a very simple concept. Yeah. But there are ways and means of going through the process that are going to, make it more successful than perhaps other methods. So I can, take you through a little bit of that process, if you like, exactly.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. I'll try and
give one example that people can relate to, definitely.
Yeah. Well, there are 2 things that all business owners should do when it comes to their marketing. And the most important is something called positioning. Now, this is where you're really clarifying and defining the focus of what you do, the focus of what you're selling in terms of its unique qualities and the attributes of your product or your service, what makes you the best at what you do and better than other people. Focus then on who can benefit the best from what you do. And then this ties in a little bit with what you were saying about niching. Who is the group of people who will really get what you do and really get benefit from what you do. That's a really important step. Yeah. And also why, understand why they're going to benefit from it. And then you also need to actually provide evidence of how you can help people. This is something that a lot of people skip over. They don't realize that it's important to show some kind of proof or evidence of why you can help people, because that's the thing that will really convince them. So it could be a particular method that you use. It could be your own experience, years of experience. There's a number of ways that you can do this, but often it's not so obvious to the actual business owner because you're so close to what you do. Right. You just can't be objective. So it's almost like going back to the classroom a little bit, sitting down and just really doing some homework and trying to be as objective as possible. And this is where working with an external person can help, because they can add that touch of objectivity into the process that you can't, and they can see things that you don't see anymore because you're so close to it. Yeah. So the positioning is the core of everything that you do, and you've got to be really, really clear on that. And then the more practical thing that you can do once your positioning is in place is to create a messaging document. And so the messaging document is basically, I think the simplest way to put it is you're putting together a collection of messages that pertain to your positioning. And it could be everything from an elevator pitch, which we've all heard about, to a longer description of what you do that could be used in an article, or it could be a snippet of information that you could include in blog posts
Yeah.
or in social media posts. The key thing here is that it's written it's written up front so that you don't have to recreate this every time you want to create a post, write an article, create a campaign, get a new tactic. Everything is prepared up front and adapted to suit the channel that you're using and the timing of the campaign or whatever.
Yeah.
And
So you can just copy and paste and tweak it a little bit?
yes, yeah, you can copy and paste and tweak it. And the tweaking is very important because I would say adapt more than tweak. Tweaking is the same thing, I guess, but it's the adaptation is very important as well because you don't want it just to sound rote. But it's messaging that you know will be consistent across everything that you do. And consistency is very, very important in maintaining that relationship with your customers so you don't confuse them. So yeah, that would be the most practical tip I could give people. But you've got to do your positioning first because your messaging is driven by your positioning.